Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English Mastery Podcast. I'm Amely, and I'm really happy you're here with me today. Today, we're going to talk about one of the most famous personal finance books in the world, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. This book shares the story of two fathers and how their very different beliefs about money shaped the future of one boy, Robert Kiyosaki. One father believed that the safest path was to study hard, find a stable job, and save money carefully. The other father believed in learning how money truly works and using that knowledge to build wealth and freedom. The lessons Robert learned changed his entire life. And if you stay with me until the end of this episode, you'll not only practice your English speaking through shadowing, you'll also learn powerful money lessons that could change the way you see wealth forever. In this episode, I'll speak slowly, use simple language, and repeat key phrases. Your job is to listen carefully and then repeat each line after me. This method is called shadowing. It's one of the fastest ways to build natural rhythm and confidence in English. Take a deep breath, relax your shoulders, and let's begin. Lesson 1. The rich don't work for money. Robert grew up with two father figures. He called one of them his poor dad, his biological father, and the other was his rich dad, the father of his best friend. His poor dad was well educated, intelligent, and worked as a teacher. He believed deeply in school, in good grades, and in finding a secure job with a fixed salary. He often told Robert, "Study hard, work hard, get a good job." His rich dad didn't finish advanced education, but he understood money deeply. He owned businesses. He invested. He taught Robert to make money work for him, instead of working endlessly for money. Robert respected and loved both fathers, but their beliefs about money were completely different. Poor Dad believed that security came from education and employment. Rich Dad believed that freedom came from understanding how money moves. Robert stood between these two voices, and the lessons from Rich Dad would transform his future. One day, Rich Dad shared his first big lesson. The rich don't work for money. At first, Robert was shocked. He asked, "Isn't money the reason everyone works?" Rich Dad smiled and explained, "Poor and middle-class people work for money. They get a job, earn a salary, then spend it on things like a house, a car, or new gadgets. But all these things come with extra costs, bills, taxes, loans, and maintenance. So they work harder to pay for them. And the more they earn, the more they spend. They end up trapped in a loop, always working, always spending, never truly free." This is what Rich Dad called the rat race. Robert started to see it. He understood why his poor dad was often worried about money, even with a good job, and he noticed why his rich dad remained calm and financially free. Lesson 2. Assets versus liabilities. Rich Dad then taught Robert one of the most important concepts in the world of money. The difference between assets and liabilities. An asset is something that puts money into your pocket. A liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. He gave 2 examples to make this clear. One young man saved some money and bought a car. At first, he was proud, but soon, the car needed fuel, repairs, insurance, and over time it lost value. It cost him more and more. The car was a liability. Another man saved the same amount but bought a piece of land. He rented it out, and each month he earned steady income from it. Over time, the value of the land grew. This was an asset, something that produced money instead of draining it. Robert was amazed by this simple but powerful idea. He realized many people believe their house or their car is an asset. But in reality, if it's constantly taking money out of your pocket, it's not an asset. This lesson opened his eyes to how the rich build their wealth differently. Lesson 3. The power of mindset. One day, Robert asked his rich dad, "Why do you always seem so confident about money?" Rich dad smiled and said, "Because I understand how it works." He explained that most people limit themselves with their words. Poor people often say, "I can't afford it." When they say this, their mind shuts down. They stop searching for answers. They stop being creative. The rich, on the other hand, ask, "How can I afford it?" This simple question opens the mind. It forces the brain to look for ideas and solutions. Robert thought about his 2 fathers. His poor dad often said, "We can't afford it." His rich dad always asked, "How can we make it happen?" Robert learned that the way you speak to yourself shapes your future. From that day, he decided never to say, "I can't." He would always ask, "How can I?" Lesson 4. Facing fear and risk. Robert still felt nervous about money and investing. So he asked his rich dad, "What if I lose money?" Rich dad answered calmly, "That's the difference between the rich and the poor. The poor fear losing money and let that fear control them. The rich also feel fear, but they face it. They take action, and they learn from mistakes." He explained that fear keeps many people trapped in jobs they dislike. Fear of failure, fear of losing, fear of not being safe. But the rich see risk as a teacher. They know failure is not the end. Failure is a lesson on the road to success. He told Robert, "If you fall, get up. If you lose, try again. Every mistake teaches you. Courage helps you grow. Fear keeps you small." Robert listened carefully. He wanted to be brave like his rich dad. Lesson 5. Building wealth, step by step rich. Dad then gave Robert a clear plan for building wealth. It was simple, but it required discipline. Step 1. Track your expenses. Write down everything you spend money on. Notice where you waste money. Step 2. Start small. You don't need a lot of money to begin. Buy a few shares. Save a little each month. Start with what you have. Step 3. Reinvest your profits. Do not spend the money you earn right away. Put it back into your investments so it grows bigger. Step 4. Keep learning. Read books. Ask questions. Find mentors. Knowledge makes you stronger. Robert followed these steps. He began to see money not as something to spend quickly, but as a tool to create more money. Rich Dad compared wealth to planting a tree. It starts as a small seed. If you water it, protect it, and wait patiently, it will grow into something strong. Wealth grows step by step. Lesson 6. Controlling emotions with knowledge. Another day, Rich Dad shared a lesson about emotions. He said, "To become wealthy, you must first learn to control your emotions." Robert asked, "What do emotions have to do with money?" Rich Dad explained, "Fear and greed control most people. Fear makes people stay in jobs they dislike. They fear not paying bills. They fear losing stability, so they never take risks. Greed is just as dangerous. Many people believe new cars, bigger houses, or more things will make them happy. But these things only create stress and more bills." Then Rich Dad revealed the secret. Knowledge is the key. When you understand how money works, fear loses its power. When you learn about investing, you feel calm. When you learn about taxes, you save more. When you know the rules, you can play with confidence. Knowledge gives you power over your emotions. Lesson 7. Think like an investor. Rich Dad taught Robert to stop thinking like a consumer and start thinking like an investor. Our consumer spends money quickly on clothes, gadgets, or entertainment. Soon, the money is gone. An investor asks, "How can I use this money to make more money?" Rich Dad even gave Robert an exercise. He said, "When you walk down the street, don't just see shops. Ask yourself, how could I own one of these? What would it take for this business to grow?" Robert practiced this. He started seeing opportunities everywhere. A small cafe for sale, an old house that could be rented, even new ideas online. Opportunities are always around us, but only those who look with investor eyes can see them. Consumers spend. Investors grow. Lesson 8. Habits, patience, and giving. Finally, Rich Dad taught Robert about habits. He said, "Your daily habits decide your future. If you save and invest a little every month, it will grow. If you spend everything, you will stay stuck." His rule was simple. Pay yourself first. Put money into savings or investments before you pay your bills. This builds discipline. He also reminded Robert to be patient. Wealth does not grow overnight. It grows like a tree. You must water it, protect it, and wait. Do not stop, just because results come slowly. And finally he said, "The richest people are also the most generous. They give back. They share knowledge. They help others. Generosity creates value, respect, and even new opportunities. Daily habits build wealth. Patience keeps it growing. Giving multiplies it." Congratulations! You made it to the end of this practice. Today, you didn't just learn English. You also learned timeless lessons from Rich Dad, Poor Dad. You learned about the difference between assets and liabilities. You learned why mindset shapes your future. You learned to face fear, build habits, and think like an investor. But most importantly, you practiced English by shadowing every line with me, step by step, sentence by sentence. Every time you repeat with me, your English becomes more natural. Your speaking becomes more confident, and your brain learns to think in English. Come back to this episode often. Listen again, shadow again, and add more to your fluency every time. This is the English Mastery Podcast. I'm Amely, and I'm proud of your effort today. Keep listening, keep practicing, and always believe in yourself. See you next time.